All right, hi, this is Atticus and welcome to part 2 of our playthrough of Scenario 6 called Gold Rush. We are ready to move on to clothing. We've knocked off these first 2 tasks and we took the approach of expanding out to bring every city on the map into our rail network, and we have connections everywhere. So I've got 1, 2, 3 things I want to do right here at the beginning. First one is fix a huge, massive, I can't believe I did this mistake. If we look at this, I said 15 cities. Now let's count the rail lines we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. They're all single track, city to city, 14 lines. We should have 14 trains. We have 11 trains. Unbelievable. So I know one was right here at the end of the last episode. So there's no train coming out of Elko to Winnemucca. So let's fix that. Let's go like this. Set up our usual thing we've been doing. And run till we get enough money and we'll fire off a train there. Okay. Now let's find our other missing sites. I think we can just go through. We probably could read. I wonder if we could just read them. That's a little confused. Okay, let's do it like this. Let's go every other station. So we'll skip San Francisco. We'll go here. So Sacramento has Redding and San Francisco, so it would be good. We can skip Redding and look at Gold Beach and see what they've got. They've got Eugene and Redding, which is what they should have. So we'll skip Eugene and go to Portland. And Portland has, and looky here, Baker City, and we're missing this. That's disgusting. We don't have a line between Eugene and Portland. Now that disconnects the rest of our system. That's costing us lots and lots of passengers and mail and lots of money. Ridiculous. So we're going to fix that. Okay. Now that just turned on, look at this. Baker City can go everywhere on the map except Bodie. Everywhere. Now, I promise you it couldn't do that before. So let's see. We looked at Portland. Let's look at Nampa. Nampa should have 3 because it's actually kind of a little junction. Baker City, Idaho Falls, Winnemucca. That's absolutely correct. Then we could skip Idaho Falls, look at Salt Lake City, and that would finish off this whole eastern branch. Idaho Falls and Milford, that's perfect. Okay, so if we go Nampa, skip Winnemucca, let's look at Elko. And this is the one I think we just did, right? Yeah, Elko to Winnemucca. And then go over here and look at Carson City. And look at this, Winnemucca and nothing to Elko. So there's our third and final missing train, is Bodie to Carson City. Oh, that's sad. That's so sad. So sad. So we'll gather up a few funds and get that going. Okay. Now we got 3 more trains running, but it's more than 3 because that one in particular just cost us so much. These 2 were hanging off the ends. They weren't as bad, but this one here was just costing us a fortune. All right, so we need to do the clothing. Now our plan for the clothing was to go here and buy the beer and knock it down and replace it with clothing. Still the plan. Now the good news is I had played ahead. I'm many times when I play these, I'm days ahead of you guys in terms of, like when you actually see the video, I might be 3, 4, 5 parts ahead of you in terms of what I'm making. And sometimes when I reply to your comments, I have to remind myself what you've seen versus what I've seen, so I don't give away too much. But I trashed everything I'd done on this one. I played through like part 2 and started part 3, and I said, nah, because I've learned quite a bit here, and I wanted to go back and do it in a way that where we could all learn these things and benefit from them, and I could take advantage of them. So the good news is I'm back in sync with you. So I've read the comments you guys have made from part 1, at least up to right now. And the first one I want to talk about is Tarek had a comment about Gold Beach, which I thought was a great comment because it made me realize that Gold Beach is consuming beer at 0.6 a week. And that means that the factory here in Gold Beach, it makes 0.8 normally. So you can see its utilization. It's staying up, not 100%, but it's like 90 to 80, 90%. And what's happening is whenever there's a availability to sell, one to Gold Beach, it makes another one. So its price is dropping, but it's not dropping precipitously the way we want it to, because it's still selling to Gold Beach. And Tarek's comment was, to really make that work, we would have to starve it of grain, which means, and this is a good review for everyone, when a raw material like this farm, hits its full 21 out of 21 in this case, for whatever the storage capacity is based on the level of the farm or mine, it will ship excess off to nearby cities. So this grain, if we look at flow of goods, see Gold Beach is getting 100% of its grain needs over land on this road right here. And Eugene is getting 100% from that same farm of what it needs. So to starve this and really get this to go down the way we wanted it to, should have done what I did with cutting off the delivery of the beer and cutting off the grain. Taking this grain and delivering it by train other places like Eugene and Portland, and keeping this from getting up there where it could ship by land. And if we did that, then we would starve off the beer and it would be much cheaper. But we're not going to go back and try to redo that down. It's too late. What we're going to do is take a good capitalist approach and throw a whole bunch of money at the problem. That's, our preferred solution, generally speaking, anyway. So what we're going to do is talk about the third thing I wanted to talk about right up front, which are bonds. I finally broke down and built the bond calculator. And then Johnny Hughes saw that, and he went out and did some testing on the bonds. And I want to kind of show you kind of the results that he documented. And remember, these are preliminary. He didn't do a full-blown scientific test. He just ran some tests and came up with some results. And we'll call them preliminary results. I suspect they're quite accurate, though. So let's go look at the bond calculator. Okay, so based on Johnny's findings, I modified the calculator a little bit. This is still exactly the same. It's telling us, can I close this bond? And if I close this bond, would that allow me to open a new bond? In fact, let's load this. Let's see what the data is right here in the system. See if it's let's see, it's 6360. It may be right. 6365, 286, 464. 6365. I actually think it's correct. Yes, it is. Okay, so this is our situation right now where we have a company value of 6365, meaning 6,365,000, whatever, and 286,000 the first bond, 464 the second one. Either one of them, if we close them, it would allow us to open another bond, right? And Johnny found that, first of all, the rule we were talking about is true, that your next bond that you open cannot put you above, you can only open a new bond if you have less than 10% of your company value in open bonds at that moment in time, right? However, if you open bigger bonds, you can, the total of the bonds doesn't have to be under 10%. It's just that you have to be under 10% to open the next bond. The next bond could be quite large, and in fact, you can have total bonds up to 33% of your company value. So potentially, we could have 2.1 million in open bonds based on our current company value. So what does that say? Well, it made me start thinking about bonds again, and I realized I'm not taking advantage of them the way I should be. Shame on me. Shame on me. So we're going to correct that now. So Johnny, thank you for looking into that. It was very useful. And we're going to come back to the game now. And we're going to do something I kind of think of as build, accumulate, borrow. The BAB approach. We're going to build, which we already did, right? We built out all this infrastructure and all these trains and stuff to have our basic economic engine. So now we're going to accumulate to do our next task. Our next thing is going to be that whole deal with the clothing factory because the task is there. And it could just as easily be make your system bigger, make more money. So we're going to let this thing run until we accumulate enough to close off our 2 bonds. So we're going to accumulate this one. This first one, we'll need about a little over 300 to do it. When we get over 300, we'll close it out. Then we'll keep accumulating until we can close out the second one, and then we'll open the biggest bonds we possibly can and get to work on this clothing task. Okay, so let's go close that one out. Okay, see it, and then sure enough, true to form, it allows us to open another one, but we don't want that one. We want a bigger one. So we need some money. So we need 464, we need about 500 grand to close that one out. So let's just keep on chugging until we have 500 grand. It won't take long because we are making 1.2 million per week as we stand right now. So it'll take us about 3 or 4 days to accumulate that. In the meantime, we'll do our research. We're going to get this one, the raw materials, because that is going to come up later. We're going to want to make profit from our raw materials. Okay, we should be able to close that other bond. We can. So now 884. Now if we look at what it thinks our company value is, which I think is wrong because it still shows this one as our debt. 7.5 million is kind of what we have. But if we open this first one, that's too big. But this one is not. This is like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. This one's too firm. This one's too soft. This one is just right. So we're going to open this middle one. And that still leaves us available to get this bigger one. 510, that would make us too big. 580 and 200 would be 780. I think it's going to think we're too big. Yeah, we're going to be too big. So we'll just go ahead and grab the biggest one we can get. There we go. We got 1.4 million. All right, so let's go do what needs to be done here. Let's go to Gold Beach, and the beer industry, we're going to buy it. $7.49. Could have been much better if we had stripped it of. Look at it. It's even leveled up to level 2. Well, we're going to have the pleasure of knocking down a level 2 business. And then we're going to replace it with clothing. We'll put the clothing out here on the cliff. There we go. This is going to be stationed out here. Now, we have this thing at 0.8. Now, based on the size of the city, we can't do a level 3, but we can take it up to level 2, which is 545. So let's just run this. It won't take us very long to get another 250,000. We'll bump up this production. Oh, and the other thing we'll do is the train that's running right here. It's got the priorities on this. We're going to take these priorities off, especially down here. In fact, for the time being, we're going to put a priority on the what do we call it? The cloth, because we need to make sure we have cloth up here. See, it has, how much we got? We got 6, but we need to make sure we've got enough to get our full task done. Okay, we're looking for 545. There we go. And we will bump this up to a level 2. at 1.6. That's as big as we can make it. That's as fast as we can go. Now our train has landed. Let's go in here and double track this, which will give us the ability to run more trains. All right, 239. And build. And I'm going to probably reset that. All right, now we have double track there, and we're going to take advantage of that. We're going to look at this line, Gold Beach to Reading. Say, how many trains would you really like to have? 15 days, you'd probably like to have 3 trains. Let's bump it up to a second train as soon as we can. And then we'll bump it up to a third train. I'm kind of considering all this part of the build we had to do with all that money to get this whole clothing thing to work. Oh, sorry. There we go. So now we've got a more optimized line. We should have a steady supply of cloth coming back up here. We're already at 3. Yep, sure enough. We've made 3. We don't have to worry about shipping it anywhere because we store it in our own warehouse. Now let's look at Q2 results. We can see here it says we gained 460,000. I can tell you that is fantastic because it's way more than that. If we look at our quarterly reports, this 2.9 million we made in Q1 is actually 2 million of that was bonuses. They were gimmies. So you take 2 million out of that, you're only looking at 1 million that we were, or one, was it 3? Yeah, 1 million that we really did. And we went up to 3 and almost 3.5. Look at our passengers, went from 1 million to almost 2 million. Our mail doubled from 800 to 1.6 million. And it's interesting too, our freight actually went down a little bit because we're not running it. We had freight to get some bonuses and we took the freight off. So we're hauling very little freight now, just a little bit of city to city stuff, but that's okay because we're making really good money. All right, so we had a good quarter. We made good money. We're making progress here. We should have this task done fairly quickly. Now, let's just go back to accumulate. We have 1.4 million in bonds open, so let's just accumulate and close those out and get a whole bunch of money. So while this is running and getting that task done, we'll accumulate a bunch of money, so whatever it throws at us next, we'll be ready with a fair amount of money to hopefully get the job done. So we could look at this and say, well, we got 1.5 million in bonds. Now we could make 1.5 million in a week. So in a week we could close the bonds and kind of double our money. Certainly more than the 1.5. So we can make more money by actually not spending any money right now and allowing our engine to gather money up for us so we can have bigger bonds. So you can see I see some nice dollar figures clicking in, even little old Bodie down here. What's it doing? It did 14,000, but I saw a 30 and a 40. It's nice. We're making some money. Let's repay that one. Now we need about, well, how much do we need? We need about 900 to close that one off. And where are we here? We're on 5 of 9. Looking good. You can see this train taking full 5 wagons of cloth up through there. All right, no, it's more than that. It's 800, 900, yeah, 900. And where are we here? 7 out of 9, we're almost done. We got plenty of cloth to work with, good deal. Okay, so now we can get 896. Let's just see. 8.25. $8.2. Ugh. What's it going to do to us here? 8.2. I think there's a mistake in the game right here. If you'll look, see it says that we still owe 827,000 in bonds. So we really our company value, I think, should be over 9 million. So we should be able to take this one and not be over 10%, right? But I'll bet you if we take that one, we'll be over 10%. Well, let's just find out. Look at that, 896. But I don't think that's right. That's not right because we don't owe. We didn't have that 827. Now we do. I mean, obviously, now we do have a big bond. But it doesn't even match the bond we have. They're out of sync in their own calculations. And that being said, it's giving me false data.
Having a production factory as
not
a
pleased
second
about that.
mainstay is a solid start. The citizens of Gold Beach are thrilled. Finally, they are part of a reliable rail network. Holy cow! Have you heard the news too? Gold! You hear me? They found gold! Right somewhere around here, near Bodie. I think this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You have transportation on your side. Why don't you earn money by taking some of these fortune hunters to their destinations and supplying them? Keep it up. More expansion means more profit.
Okay, when he goes through several of those, that's a good sign. It means whatever's opened up, we've already done some of them. So let's just see here. All right, connect 300,000. We've already done that because we have everybody connected. Balance of 700,000. Our balance is what is it right now? 1.7 million. So we're good on that. Okay. So what else they want us to do? Transport 500 passengers without changing trains from Gold Beach to Sacramento. Clothing to Sacramento, so we're going to have to build Sacramento. Make 8 different goods available in Bodie. Well, we'll have to grow Bodie. Now we'll have to really grow Bodie and produce a bunch of clothing. Those don't look too bad. That one's going to be the long pole and a tent, obviously. And then whatever else they're going to come up with us. This won't be the last set, I'm sure. We have to go Sacramento and Bodie. Let's get a plan to do that. I think the one thing we could do, build, accumulate, build. We're in another build phase here, even though I'm PO'd because there should be another. I mean, we could close this one, 924. It would cost us $27,000 to close it, pay a penalty, and see what they would give us. But I think we'd have the same problem. It's still going to have the. Let's just take our million. We'll take our million and do what we can with it, and then we'll accumulate again. We're going to want to have Sacramento, Bodie grow, and the problem is beer, because we knocked down the beer here to get the clothing. There's beer out here in Elko, and there's beer in Nampa over here, and that's it on the whole map. We've only got 2 beer producers, so we need to create a beer producer or use the ones we have somehow. Now we got cloth, we got meat. I mean, we could do an Elko, Sacramento, Bodie 3-city cluster. That's not impossible. It's not insane. Ah, crap. Well, let's just do that. The other option, I mean, there's so many ways. We could do a 3-city cluster, Bodie, Carson City, Sacramento, buy this beer, knock it down, and buy the meat, knock it down, put beer in here, and have a nice, tighter 3-city cluster. But let's go with the Elko deal. That means we're going to need a track. We're going to need to double track this whole Winnemucca to Carson City line. which is a good thing. Nothing wrong with that. Let's go down here, put in the switches. All right. And then we're going to want to double track this right here, Winnemucca to, we're going to want to get out to this here. So we got a bunch of double tracking to do. I think I'm a little angry about the about those bonds. They should recalculate in a more timely fashion. All right, let's get this. Well, I guess I could have just gone out through here. This one, I believe, is the left-hand side going up through there. Yes, it is. All right, so put that back. We want to double track this, at least out past the sugar here. So I think what we'll do is just double track it up here like this. And we're not going to mess with trying to get this whole thing double tracked yet. We'll do that when we have. That'll be one of those things we do in our free time, so to speak, when we're waiting for something to finish. So there's that, and we're going to want double track here, Elko to Winnemucca, or at least around Winnemucca or something like that. So let's just run it in. Yep, it's the right-hand side. Pull it down here. Let's get rid of that supply tower. Raise this up. I think a little tunnel to have a max in 2 degrees. I can live with that. Let's go ahead and double track this over to here. Put switches on this end. And then I think a couple of bypasses would serve us well. So a bypass kind of through this relatively flat area around Winnemucca would be a good thing. And they're not going to let us do it. So we'll do it like this. We'll go out here like this. Like this. And then from here, on through like that. Then we can get rid of this part we built just to allow us to do that. And then we'll double track this. Anchor. And go like that. Okay, that's one. And the other one we'll want is actually, well, we're going to have to double track this too. The Bodie Carson City to really make this work. Go here to here. Like so. Okay, and then we're going to want a little bypass around Carson City. So we're going to have to, let's go inside the city limits and do it. It's easier. Like that. All right, and let's set up a line, a freight line between Elko and Bodie. 25 days, beautiful. That'll get beer going over here, some cloth going back over here. And then we want meat, so we can have a freight line between here and here, here, and maybe even here and here. This will just be to get meat going for now. And maybe, well, it's fine if it just keeps doing meat. I suppose we could do an automatic that has no priority. It'll and don't use the wagons. It'll have no problem getting decent decent loads. We need to pick. That's what I'm trying to do. When you drop out of those, you're not always back on that one. You're on the one before it. It's weird. Okay, I want to put a train on that line. There we go. So that'll get meat going to these 3 cities. And then we want to start feeding. And actually, you know what? That's a better 3-city cluster, isn't it? Yeah, it is. So let's do this. Let's go. I want to make sure it's taking the bypasses, and it is. And then Carson City to Elko, I want to make sure it's taking, it's taking the appropriate bypass around Winnemucca and going through the city of Carson City, which of course makes sense. Okay, and then Elko to Winnemucca doesn't exist right now. Why is that? What happened here? It says it doesn't do anything, but I think it's Elko Winnemucca. Yeah, there we go. It just wasn't displaying correctly. All right. So now we'll do this as a 3-city cluster. It just makes more sense. And we'll go down to Sacramento and do one with Sacramento and Redding. And you know what we could do? San Francisco, what would this thing cost us? Not very much. We can knock that down, put beer in San Francisco and have a line going like that. And you know what? I've forgotten about this. I've forgotten about that one easy... Let's get a little bit of cash. I want to get that one going. That first one, Gold Beach to Sacramento, without changing trains. I actually think there's an easy way to do that right now. If we double track this, come down here. And like so. Then we take that line that is Gold Beach to Redding, 3 trains, and we modify it. And we say, from Gold Beach, we want your priority to be passengers. And then we want you to go to Sacramento. And your priority from here could be whatever. And here, really, your priority could be whatever. And there's 3 trains. That'd be 25 days. Well, let's just stay with the 3 while we've got them. 25 days. We really want 5 trains doing that for that big a line. So let's confirm that, and then we'll add trains to it as we can. There's 4. And there's 5. Well, that should knock off that task fairly well, particularly now that we've got this stuff straightened up. And one of the things we could do to speed that up is double track, get more people, double track more people, double track more people, so we have more people going to Gold Beach who would want to go to Sacramento, right? All right, so I think maybe right now, $924. Let's just accumulate. Since we've got this task we're working on, let's accumulate until we can do some damage here. And I may change my tune. If I can get a $500,000 here, I think I can set up delivery and make this one grow, if nothing else. If I don't do anything else. Yeah, I think I could do some damage right here. If we were to put this in, feed it into Bodie. Knock it down to it's 5, I think. I think maybe like that. That works. Double track that and pull it back. Okay, that was very expensive. Much more than I anticipated. We got an expensive one here too. I may regret that decision. I think what we'll do instead is just say here, here. Go there to there. You know what? We'll just have this one go. For now, it's going to go to all 3 of these. Bodie, leave empty. Carson City, you can stop off in Bodie. And then leave empty. Elko, you can stop off in Bodie. And leave empty. Why would that be? Did I forget the, I think I did, yep. We need switches there. Okay, that should get him going. And now let's just accumulate. We need a lot of money. This track laying here is so expensive. There, now I think it is recalculated, right? Now I think it understands what we actually have. And I know we've made some more money, but I think it's figured out where we are now. And it's figured out that our bond is less than 10%. So let's just go ahead, because that's, if we drop that down, it's kind of what we're looking for. So there we got our $1 million. Okay. So now let's put in the rest of this. One thing we really do need is this line that runs down here and connects to this. So let's go. This could be a lot of money. Let's go down through here. Oh, do we want to go around the village? Maybe if we can get a better line, we will. Okay. Okay, 5 degrees I could absolutely live with. We're getting the Indian village too. If we're going to do that, then let's just go straight through it. Let's go down like this and connect in. So that's 5 degrees. Now 4 degrees would be beautiful. That's 1.2 million. 1.2 million. No, that's too much for this point in time. Max. I can accept 5 degrees. That's not awful, but we do want this to be... It has to come in relatively sharply, otherwise this return won't work. 317. That's and 5 degrees. Yeah, that's bearable. All right, but we got to move the Indians. We were able to build it though, good. And now let's see if we can double track it, which will be significantly cheaper. And it's mismatching, but that's okay. Up like this. Bring this one in like so. Come here. There. Okay. And it really needs to be able to go both ways. Come off here. And we can move that tower if we need to. That's 6 degrees. Can we make it softer? I'd like to have it 5. There, that's better. Expensive, but better. Eight. We'll take that. If it's 8 for a moment, we'll take that. Okay, now if we just run two trains, one that goes here to here, one of our little automatic dealies, and then one that goes, let's say, from here to here. Again, with little automatics like that. Now what we've done is connect all these cities over here to San Francisco and Sacramento and along through here. So like Elko, they go everywhere but Idaho, Salt Lake City, and Milford behind them. And we're going to fix that later when we've got spare time. We have no spare time right now. Okay, Bodie's actually growing. We've got to get Sacramento growing, and I think that'll be for next episode. So, did we make progress? Yes, we absolutely did. We got this done fairly good time, I think. And we're starting to make progress on this guy. We got these done. We know what we're... Okay, Bodie's got 6 products. We may find a way to trick it and get it done more quickly. But at any rate, I think we made progress there, like I said. And next episode, we'll work on getting Sacramento growing and get this this 3-city cluster up here growing and get one down here growing. And we'll keep abusing the bonds as much as we can to keep money in our pockets and give us the ability to grow quickly. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it'll help you become a better player. I hope you'll like, comment, and subscribe, and join us for our next Railway Empire 2 video. Thank you.